Welcome to another Adventures with Bill. And on today's video, I'm going to be making a glide bait, painting a glide bait. You might see that I have a little bit of a bait making addiction here, but I'm going to be making a mullet, Florida mullet. I'm going to try. My brother fishes with mullets for live bait, and sometimes he can't get them, so he asked for an artificial. And there are different strains, different colors of mullet. But he says that this top picture here is a close representation of his. A little neat feature, there's a darkness on the head, and they got these shiny silver spots that kind of show through. So I'm trying to replicate that. So here is actually the first one that I had made for him. And I don't know how well you can see that. It's similar. I got the tail a little too dark. And I think I got the sides a little too dark. There's a little patch of pink on the nose that you can see on some of the mullets, so I tried to imitate that, but I thought that one's a little too dark. So today I'm going to show you how I painted, if I can get it unhooked, how I painted the second one. And I'm new at this, so this is only about the fifth, sixth one glide bait that I've painted. And I haven't painted 10 baits overall. I'm still a rookie. I'm learning. So this one, you can see the pattern is a little bit lighter. And the same pink lip, the eyes on it, a little less dark outline around the tail. Those spots are on the head, the reflective patches, the same as on the real one. So I'm going to be sending to him to see how they work. But right now, let's show you how I painted this. And as I do, if you have any suggestions, because like on some of these mullets, you can see they have these like horizontal whiter stripes or horizontal darker stripes. I wasn't able to get that. This is with the stencil, just kind of a mesh pattern. If you have any tips on how I can get that, how I can get those horizontal stripes on there, please put them in the comments below. Any suggestions you have, because again, I'm just beginning. Let me know, and let's get into the video. Just before we start painting, I wanted to show you my setup here. Cheap little air compressor. This is a spray booth made out of cardboard. I actually made a video, YouTube video, on how to make it. Only took 2 hours. A cardboard furnace filter in the back there. The paints, I got a variety of paints because I'm just starting. Mostly ordered off Amazon. So the airbrush paints, some metallic colors, and some color shifting. And I'll have links for those below where I got them from Amazon. Got a nice panel lamp here on top that brightens it up so I can see what I'm doing. I made the top clear out of plexiglass to let the light shine through. And that light does a good job of illuminating the workspace. So that's my work area. Very cheap, very inexpensive, easy way to get started. As you know, I'm sure these baits come clear, and I'm getting ready to paint the entire bait, cover it with a pearl white for a nice glossy white finish. I've already painted it with a white undercoating. And this paint that I'm using is not specifically made for airbrushing, so I'm thinning it here with paint thinner so that it flows good as I begin starting to paint. And I'm just going to try to get a nice even coat all the way around it, speed it up here because you don't need to see how long it takes, just so it has that nice pearl white reflective coating. And again, I'm new to all of this. I'm just a beginner. I haven't painted 15 baits yet, so anything that I do, let me know if you have a suggestion for me. I made some airbrush cleaner that I use whenever I'm changing colors, and run it through there a few times, clean it all out so that the color doesn't bleed over to my next coat. Getting ready here to heat set it, and a lot of people use the hair dryers, and I have one of these heat guns, Harbor Freight heat gun, so I make sure to stay a good distance away. I use it on low heat because you don't want to cook it too much, but that gets the paint nice and dry. And so the next color I'm going to be laying on is a metallic silver, because there's a mixture of the pearl white, especially on the bottom of the bait, pearl white and silver. Again, horizontal stripes. I can't quite get that, but hopefully someone here will have a suggestion for how I can do that. So I'm trying different types of mesh on it, and that's about the pattern I used on the first bait I made, but I felt like it was a little too thin. And this is stretchy here and has different widths of the scales. This white clear netting is what I used before on the first one, and I think it's a little too thin as well. This is a heavier material that I got from a garment bag, and I think I'm going to try that one. It's going to shield more, and this gold colored I've used on my first glide baits, and I really like it, but I don't think it's exactly right for the mullet pattern. Seemed like it might be a little too heavy. I'm not sure. It's all just trial and error, so we're going to see what happens. So you clip the mesh on with different clips. You try to get it as tight to the body as you can, so you don't get any leaks with your stencils. And I'm first going to use this metallic silver acrylic, water-based acrylic, and it's thick, so I have to add a little thinner to it and then stir it up in the paint cup so that it flows right. Otherwise, it just doesn't flow, and because it's really thick paint. It's not ready for airbrushing. So my thinner concoction goes in and just takes a few minutes to stir it. You can see when it all kinds of blends together into a smooth finish, and then off you go. I'm going to paint, get this a little heavier on the back and on the sides. Ends up taking more silver than I thought, and because I wanted a pretty good silver pattern on this. And for me, whenever I'm spraying the stencils, and you can see that up on the back, it's a little darker, a dark gray, silver, greenish, a little greenish tint. So I'm mixing up some color shift, bright green, and some black, pearl black, trying to blend the colors. I think I actually put a little bit of brown in it as well. And so I'm just wanting to add a light coat to the top, the back, and the upper part of the shoulders. And my problem with painting through these stencils is I usually end up getting it too dark. It looks like it's okay when I do it, and then it ends up being a little too dark. And so up on the very top, I'm going to put a little bit of that black, just a jet black, just to make it a little bit more of a gray color. And so that's the accent on the back and the shoulders. Heat set it with the heat gun so that the paint's not going to stick when I take this mesh off. I don't want it to take the paint with it. And so here's kind of the unveiling. And wow, that's a vivid scale pattern. A little more distinct than I wanted, but I'm going to go over, and when I add the details, I'm going to be adding some white to that. You can see on the underbelly of them, it's very white. So I'm going to spray over the scales. Well, first I'm doing a little darker up on the shoulders so that the scale pattern isn't up there on the back and the shoulders with just the pearl black. And then I'm switching over to this white pearl and I'm going to do the bottom and the bottom of the sides, just because that pattern is so dark. And the gill plates and around the face, I'm going to whiten that up as well. And you can start to see it's got a good gloss finish to it. Not really good with the camera, but that's lightened it up considerably on the face, the side of the gills. And there's a built-in fin on the lower side of the body, and the mullet doesn't have a fin there. So I'm mixing up the kind of a bronze and a green, and a little bit of black to paint the fin. You can see the fin is on the upper part of the side in the picture, and there's also that brownish little tint accent places around the face. So I've just cut out a little fin stencil out of a clear plastic face shield material that I had, and it doesn't take much just to add that. And then on the real mullet, there's a black spot on the front edge of that fin. So I'm adding a little black now around the eyes. No, actually, that's that brown color that I mixed up, and adding it down on the sides of the gill plate, a little bit on the tail, just to lightly darken that up. And that's the same color that I did the fin, and these are just some accent pieces. And so this is a jet black, I think, that I'll use for the very front edge of that side fin. And I decided to highlight the top edge of the fin, just outline it a little bit more with that black, and give it a little more definition. Again, just getting used to these stencils, so to see how much is coming out, I'll put it on the stencil itself and then move it over to the area that's going to get painted. It kind of gives it a little three-dimensional texture. And of course, you can always overdo it. And I did get it a little too dark, but I plan to go back over it again. I have a chrome pencil that I use for touching up details. Not sure. Oh, the pink. I'm putting the pink on the mouth. You can see it on the mouth, the lower jaws, because in the pictures, that's what those mullet have. It's just a little accent color. This is a chrome marker pencil that I use for hand putting details on. I'm going to be using it to add a little depth, a little transparency, a little translucent to the side fin. And once it's coated with the clear epoxy at the finish, it makes a really nice effect. And then the mullet has all of those little silver patches on the top of the head in the front, and down a little on the side plate. And that clear marker, I put a link in below in the description where you can get that on Amazon. They also make them in gold. So this is a chrome silver, highly reflective. But again, when I put the clear on it, it dulls it down just a little bit. And here's the finished product now that I have the clear coat on it. Don't know how well it's going to show up with this camera and all the reflection of these lights, but that's that mottled pattern on the head. I was trying to get a little more reflective, and the transparency of the side fin there with that chrome pencil. The only problem is, it's super bright chrome when I start, but then with the clear coat, it dulls it out just a little bit. But anyway, that's my attempt. That's my pattern. Hopefully it'll catch some fish for him. Again, any suggestions, any comments, please leave them below. Always appreciate the help. And until next time, thanks for watching. God bless you.